Hola, mis amigos, ¿cómo están? Hi, everybody. As always, I am Senorita Ellis, Miss Ellis, Profesora Ellis, lo que sea. I have a lot of names that I'm called, but we are here and we're going to learn some Spanish. Firstly, I want to thank Coach H for such an engaging lesson in PE. It gets our bodies moving, and now it's time to get our brains moving with Espanol, Spanish. So, if you take a look at my screen, you see that we're going to learn about forest animals today, okay? So we're going to learn about some animals in the forest, and just as a cute reminder, animals are our friends, okay? So we're going to start with our first animal, and I'm going to say it one time, and then you repeat, okay? First, we have lobo. Una vez más, lobo. Wolves, which that's what a lobo is, wolves howl to communicate with other wolves. Thought that was an interesting fact. Next, we have ciervo. 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 Now you might see these animals running across the street, or you'll see them running in the forest because they're a forest animal. And a fun fact, each year a deer's antlers fall off and regrow. So those little horns on the side, they fall off and then they grow a new pair. Okay? Next we have Conejo. Conejo. One more time. Conejo. Alright, that's a rabbit. And rabbits can turn their ears in almost a full circle. So they make almost a full circle with their little ears. Next, we have Ardilla. Una vez más. Ardilla. Ardilla. And you see these little animals running across the trees all the time, running across the street, trying to get their food. So squirrels can actually find food even if it's under a bunch of snow. And to put it into perspective, yesterday we just had a lot of snow. So squirrels will still be able to find their food, even in the snow. Alrighty, next we have Tortuga. Repeat. Tortuga. Tortuga. Okay? Tortuga is a turtle, and something interesting is that turtles can live to be over 100 years old. Wow. That is older than some humans. That is a lot of years. Next we have a more simpler word, oso. Repeat. Oso. Osos are huge animals, okay? They're really big animals, and hopefully you don't see one of those just out. You want to see one of those in like a zoo or something. But in late November, bears get ready for hibernation, okay? Hibernation means that they sleep for many, many months at a time to avoid the cold. And they also, during that time of hibernation, so sleeping in the winter time, they don't necessarily have to eat or drink for months. I couldn't imagine going a week or a day without something to drink, like water or something. So really cool about our bears. Next we have Zorro. Okay, the Z sounds kind of like an S, all right? Zorro. Okay, so foxes have whiskers on their legs and their face, which helps them to know where they are going. Next we have rana. Rana. Una vez más. Rana. A rana is a frog, okay? And something interesting about frogs is that there's evidence that frogs have roamed the earth for more than 200 million years, so at least as long as dinosaurs. So those things have been here, supposedly, since dinosaurs were roaming the earth. Wow. Our next animal is erizo. This one's kind of tricky. Erizo. Erizo. Okay? Erizo is the animal that you see here. So a fun fact is actually a hedgehog, because that's what that animal is, has between 5,000 and 7,000 quills. So if you look at that picture, those little spikes that are on his back, they can have up to 5,000 to 7,000 of those. Oh my goodness. Next, we have bujo. Okay? Una vez más. Bujo. Un bujo, an owl, is the animal you see in that picture. Owls are what you call nocturnal, meaning that they're actually active at night while we humans are asleep. And then when we're awake in the daytime, they're actually asleep. So the way they sleep is backwards, which they call that nocturnal. Next, we have castor. Castor. A castor is a beaver, and beavers are one of the largest rodents, so one of the biggest rats on earth, and their teeth never stop growing. Interesting. Next, we have probably one of our most favored Australian animals, koala. So repeat, koala. Koala. Koalas are usually found in Australia. Next, we have Mutria. Nutria. Nutria. A nutria is an otter, okay? And a fun fact about otters is that most otters are actually found in Alaska. One of our most favorite animals, and if you've seen Kung Fu Panda, you should watch it, but repeat, Panda. 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 A panda is a panda in English, and pandas eat bamboo all day long, as you can see that panda's doing in his photo. Next, we've got mapache. Ma-pa-che. Mapache. I'm sure you've seen some mapaches running all around. And an interesting fact about raccoons is that raccoons have little hands that they use to get around and feel different items. So that's what they use to feel their way around. Next, we've got, I'd say a scary animal. There's a lot of people that are afraid of these kind of animals. So repeat, serpiente. 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 Okay? A serpiente is a snake, and a fun fact is that snakes actually do not have eyelids. So when I close my eyes, you see my eyelids, right? They don't have those. Next, we've got gecko. Okay? Gecko. That one's pretty easy to pronounce. Geckos have amazing toes that help them stick to almost any surface. So if you've seen at night those little lizards that run across your door or run across the ground, those are geckos, okay? Next we have coyote. 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 As you see in the picture, there's a coyote. Dogs actually run with their tails up. Coyotes actually run with their tails down. So that's an interesting fact. I didn't know that before. Next we have alce. 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 An alce is an elk, which is another one of those huge animals, and they belong to the deer family. But elk are often mistaken for mooses. I believe that's how you say the plural form. Mooses are also very big as well, and they have really big horns, so that's how they get confused. Next, we've got zorrillo. 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 Zorrillos are skunks. And although we know that skunks can spray that nasty smelling liquid, that's their defense mechanism, but also they eat bees and wasps. So during the summertime, when there's a lot of bees and wasps, skunks, they're around, they're probably going to eat them. Next we've got Bison te. Bison te. Bisonte. These are again large animals, okay? Very large. Bison are the largest mammals in North America. So they're that big that they're the biggest out of where we live here in the US, okay? Next we've got Puma. Repeat, Puma. Although you may think that Puma would translate to a puma, it actually means cougar, okay? And cougars cannot roar like a lion, but they can make calls like a human scream. So that's kind of what they sound like when they're communicating. Next we have Kangaroo. Excuse me, the pronunciation. Kangaroo. 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 Kangaroos cannot walk backwards. I bet you didn't know that. They can't walk backwards. All right, so now that we've gone through some common animals that you would find in the forest, I actually have a video for you guys if you would like to hear how each of these animals sound, okay? So this is where I kind of shift the focus to parents and guardians. I have the link right here on my screen. If you'd like to go to YouTube or if you'd like to open Google and type in that exact web link, it will take you to a video on YouTube that is specifically made for kids who want to hear the sounds of these forest animals. I encourage you to do that with your student because that was a really cool video to watch, and it'll just reinforce those animals that we learned about today. So I have that video for you guys. It's optional, of course, but there's that option. And then lastly, as kind of like a keepsake, as a keepsake, we are going to create a book. Vamos a crear un libro. So here's what you'll need kind of beforehand for this activity. You'll probably need a printer, cardstock, which is really hard paper. And again, I'm kind of focusing towards the guardians right now to help your student to complete this. You'll need scissors to cut, and then you'll need crayons and markers if you choose that option. But I'm actually going to let you all discover what this project is, and the instructions and everything you need are on that web link right there. So again, if you go to Google, you type in that exact web link, it will take you to a page that has the instructions to create this book over forest animals that will not only have pictures of forest animals, but they'll have their footprints, which I think is really cool, and then they'll have the name of each of those forest animals, and it'll be a keepsake for your kids so they can flip through each of those forest animals. Okay, so that, oh, and I also have a picture of the finished product. I included that in there for you. So this is kind of what the pictures will look like, and when you print them out, printing them on that cardstock, you'll be able to make kind of a little booklet out of it. And again, you'll have a picture of the animal, the name of the animal in English, and then you'll have footprints of each of those respective animals. Okay, so I hope that you found this lesson really engaging. We learned about some forest animals. Go look at that YouTube video, make your finished product, your little booklet, and I will see you guys next time to talk about plants. Okay, adios.